Welcome.
Yeah, there you go.
Get your chocolate on. I'm Dr. Amanda Kemp.
And I'm Miss Makeda.
And I'm the founder of Racial Justice from the Heart. And I have a messy couch. And, cover it. There we go, everybody. Whoa. Who needs to see that?
Nobody.
So anyway, welcome. We're here on January 14th.
Yes.
Day before Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday and a few more days before the holiday.
Mm-hmm.
So MLK that's what we're going to focus on. But before we get there, I want to remind you that this episode of Get Your Chocolate On has been brought to you by Racial Justice from the Heart. And Makeda, if you could keep letting people in, of course. And I know you just want to keep your foot on that thing. Okay.
All right.
So Racial Justice from the Heart is a racial justice education and training company that helps people to make profound human connections across the color line and inside themselves. And what else do we do? Oh, and we set on the ground of justice and compassion.
There it is.
That's
the punchline.
Right. Because
not the line, but yeah.
Well, we'll get to that with Dr. King, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, justice and compassion. All right.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome. I'm ready too. I was so excited because I got to do some research outside of what I would do for school. This is like a extracurricular type of activity for me. And I got to look into, I just wanted to find new MLK quotes, first of all, quotes that I hadn't heard before, because I was getting so tired of hearing the same things. So that was really exciting for me. And some of the quotes I found were like so relatable to this present moment that we're in. And so it just, I mean, it was inspiring for me to find the quotes, and it never ends, the inspiration that comes through from people like Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
No matter how much it's overdone by some places. But I would say like skimmed over. And that's why it feels overdone.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing often in public school systems and my private school system. But
well, and in the media, Hallmark cards, Coca-Cola, everyone wants to give you Martin Luther King the way they want to give you him.
Yeah.
Right. Or when I first went to Washington, D.C. as a little kid, I wasn't that little, I was a high school student, and we went to the National Cathedral.
Okay.
And they had a statue of Dr. King. This is before the monument, everyone. So I know you all have seen this monument. But back then in the 80s, the low 80s, I went to the cathedral and everything in the building was white. And even Dr. King was white. And I remember saying to myself, God, even Dr. King is white. It's just so overwhelmingly white institution.
You're like, damn it.
I really was. I was like, they whitened Dr. King,
Oh my God. Well, let me tell you, I actually have a similar story. As you were talking,
already?
As you were talking, it really came up for me. Like,
tell us.
So I was in St. Louis and they have the MLK Park, a Martin Luther King Jr. Park. Do they not?
I don't know. I thought in St. Louis.
I was with my dad and he was in St. Louis, so I'm pretty sure we were in St. Louis, and they have a Martin Luther King Jr. Park, and I was inside using the restroom, and there was an older Black woman in there asking for money, and the white people were just walking by her. And I was like,
how ironic.
I was like, oh my God, I cannot handle it. And it's like, I also understand it was like people with kids, when you have kids around, you don't really want to interact either way, but the irony was just a little too strong for me in that moment. Because, you can do a lot of things for show, but when it comes down to it.
Behind the scenes, what are you really doing?
Where does your heart lie?
Ooh, Makeda. Because I have a bathroom story too. This is really sad. I was at an event where a white woman had started an organization to support African girls' education. And so of course, on the surface of it, I completely support the mission.
Of course, yeah.
But in the bathroom, I just felt like she was so cold and like dismissive of me.
Yeah.
And then it turned out, now she's up in front of the room talking about support African girls. And so some part of me is like, whatever, man, you don't know what this lady was going through. People get nervous before they speak.
It's all very true.
But then the next year, the same person was back and she had the same attitude.
Okay.
So that's when I was like, well, I need to leave the room while she makes this presentation.
Good call.
Because what it's called out of alignment.
Yeah, it's not where you
right, where when your stated values aren't in alignment with what you actually do. And I bet you she was completely unaware of it.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's like my main thing. Do you live it? And like living it is more important than even going out of the way to
say it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And I wonder if you can put in the chat, Makeda, if you could just cut and paste in the chat, because we're actually doing a workshop on Martin Luther King birthday. No, the holiday. His birthday's tomorrow, but on the holiday, we're doing a workshop on implicit racial bias. And I think if people did that, where they were looking at racism inside themselves rather than as a historical thing or out there, you would have less of that happening in the bathrooms.
In the bathroom.
Because it's in the bathroom.
A sneaky little place where people, it's
where your real stuff is, right? Before you put on your makeup.
It really is.
I
have to say, in the bathroom, I'm like a don't talk to me kind of person. I don't really like to make eye contact with anybody in the bathroom.
Oh.
I know. You wouldn't expect it, would you?
Well, because last call you were on here, you're like, you walk through the world.
Well, I'm nice to everybody, but that doesn't mean I want to interact with everybody. Like I said, I think compliments in my head.
That's what you said. That's right.
I don't speak them.
She doesn't speak them out loud. Well, I have to tell you, and then I think we should get to some of these quotes.
Of course.
But I was doing a meditation. Yeah, I was doing a meditation. And it came to me that I want to publish a little book.
Oh, okay.
And you know what it's going to be called?
What?
Makeda Magic.
Oh my God.
I know. It really is. And you know what it is?
What is it?
It's going to be all these little gem quotes from you.
Oh my God.
And get your chocolate on. The practices you suggest, the little things that you said that are like, boom, I can't even, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta respond to that. You know, because sometimes
I love that. I hope I'm getting to a percentage. That's all my knowledge. I know how to forget.
Makeda, we will absolutely be in partnership on it. 100%. 100%. And good for you to bring it up, girl. You gotta say what's, hey, you have to speak up for yourself. And, even with your mother, right? Maybe especially with your mother. That's where you get to practice speaking up.
No, seriously. And you always encourage me to speak up. So
I do.
Because it is hard for me, but when I get there, normally I think you were telling me to speak up.
No, I was telling, we really do need to get to Dr. King. But, but I was telling, my significant other that I think you're really good at saying no.
Yeah, he is.
You are good at saying no to me.
Oh.
And I think that's good. I mean, it pisses me off, obviously.
It is hard to say no to you, I have to say.
Oh, but you do say no.
Because I have to. But I do feel bad.
You feel a little bad. Okay. Well, I'm glad you do say no when you say no, because if no is really there, the no needs to come out.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's part of being living as a free person.
Yes. When I came to realize that I was doing myself a direct disservice by saying yes when I mean no, it just changed. Because then you can even bring your ego into it. And then it's really easy to say no when you don't want to. Because you're like, I'm doing this for me. But I mean, whatever you have to dig into to advocate for yourself, whatever it is, just go for it.
Advocate for yourself. So there's so many Dr. King themes here. Did you want to?
I just wanted to read something. So,
okay, from Facebook.
Yeah, Gary on Facebook says he experiences the same thing in local Lancaster church. They wanted to support Africans, but would not speak to an African American.
Oh.
That's probably a really good example. There's lots of people that want to help Africans but don't want to help African Americans. Isn't that interesting?
That is so true.
But come on, let's get to these quotes because I love this one. Okay, ready?
Yeah, so this is from the book.
Yeah.
Remember the name of the book?
Chaos or Community.
Yes. Chaos or where do we go from here? Chaos or community.
And what a fitting. I mean, obviously the title goes to the book, but how fitting.
And does it go for this moment?
Where to go? But I think we already know where it's going.
where do we go?
It
may be going somewhere, but where do we go?
Right? Got it. Well, so this one I put because I thought we could put a positive spin on it.
Okay,
so,
great.
King said, whites, it must be frankly said, are not putting in a similar mass effort to re-educate themselves out of their racial ignorance, in an aspect of their sense of superiority that the white people of America believe they have so little to learn. And I was reading that and I was thinking, wow, in my experience in the present, that hasn't really been it. I think things have really improved in that sense. Your whole job kind of relies on white people wanting to learn and wanting to do better. So that was a positive one for me.
I think there has been some movement, but I think I still agree with him. Honestly, you don't know how much email I get from people that tells me that they still feel like they have nothing to learn. And they're so locked in their superiority and in protecting their self-image that they're really not that open to learning. People even sign up for my workshops and they don't really want to. I'm just being for real.
Yeah.
Like maybe what it is, truthfully, is that inside of us, there's multiple desires.
Things pulling at you.
Yes.
Yeah. And how strong is that desire for justice?
Yes.
I guess is a part of it.
And how strong is your desire to keep things the same or to somehow keep yourself in a sense of power?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm here because I want to change. I go to see a doctor because I want to get healthy. And then they tell me, okay, Amanda, you're going to have to stop eating sugar.
Oh, that's a really good example.
And drinking alcohol, right? Well,
she was not happy at first.
No, I was not. I really was not.
That is such a good example.
But it is true that I want to be healthy. And it is true I want to eat sugar and drink alcohol.
Yeah.
Both are true.
Just one does more harm than it does good.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, the sugar and alcohol definitely do more harm.
I just like to compare and contrast.
Yeah. Well, so if it was only a rational thing, of course I would stop. I would avoid sugar and alcohol.
Yeah.
But it's not just rational. It's also something about what is the comfort or the payoff that I'm getting from sugar and alcohol.
Interesting. Because on the other hand, what is the comfort and payoff you're getting from, like, when I think about learning things about racial justice, educating yourself, what is that equivalent? What's
the payoff for the person so we'd love to hear from you in the chat. If you are of European descent, what do you think is the payoff for you to be educating yourself or to stop your miseducation?
Yeah, it's a really good question.
Yeah, it is really. And if you're here on this call, you're obviously interested in doing that because you're giving us your time.
Interested enough.
Right, interested enough because you're giving your time to do it.
We love time.
We'll see what people say.
Okay, while we wait, I figure we could do little shout outs throughout the video.
Yes. Who we shouting out?
We're shouting out our good friend from the Civil Rights Movement, Ella Baker. Because we're not going to forget about the women.
No.
Not this time around. So Ella Baker, I love her. All of these women that I've written down, their quotes are like so funny. You can just tell what type of person they were. So her famous quote is, "Strong people don't need strong leaders." And she was known as an advisor, supporter, and mentor to W.E.B. Du Bois, or Dubois. I still don't know.
Both ways, good.
MLK, Thurgood Marshall, Rosa Parks. Those are the greats. And she was their mentor. A lot of them had an affectionate nickname for her that meant, what was it? Like teacher to the next generation, teacher of craft. I think it was Hundi or something like that.
Oh yeah, I did see a word for that.
Yeah. It's a Swahili word, I think.
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
So everybody, Ella Baker. Definitely somebody for you to remember.
And ready. So after I found that first good quote, the second good quote, wow. She goes, I've always felt it was a handicap for oppressed peoples to depend largely upon a leader. Because unfortunately in our culture, the charismatic leader usually becomes a leader because he has found a spot in the limelight.
Oh.
And I was like, damn, Ellen, no one talks about that yet. That the people that are our leaders are there because they're charismatic, not because they're necessarily what we need.
Ooh, and because they found a spotlight.
They found a place in the spotlight.
So
if they like that, it's probably iffy on the leadership.
Well, and the spotlight, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, but, who gives someone the spotlight?
Yeah, true.
Time magazine.
I see what you're saying. So it's already sort of questionable.
Yeah. If you come in, yeah.
So
wow, I know.
I'm very, what do you call it? Subversive, the person that's subversive. It's very, very much so. And I'm like, go for it. Like, tear down the idea that we need a leader. She said it. Strong people do not need strong leaders.
Ooh, interesting. Wow, it's a whole different conception of leadership, like not as this single person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
wow.
it's like our Kwanzaa values that autonomy, the self-determination.
Kuji Chagulia.
Yeah, Kuji Chagulia, self-determination. Determining that we're all the leaders. Ugh, love her. Love that. Okay. So let's see.
So we asked the question, like, what's in it for you?
Yeah.
If you're European descent, what's your payoff for learning more? What do you mean? What are you getting?
We have one answer. Ivana says, the payoff is being real and true to my self-love and my values. That's a good one. Oh, let's see. Rebecca says, I'm dying a little bit inside every day. I'm steeped in white-centered culture. I need people of color, people from other cultures. We all need each other. Ooh, I agree with that too.
Wow.
I agree with that. And Ivana says again, not harming others even unconsciously. That is a big commitment. Yeah, I think it takes a special kind of heart, I don't know, to remove yourself out of that place of power and allow yourself to feel for others. Because once you feel, I feel like you can't really move backwards. Maybe you can, but I rarely see it. Jamie says, a broader and deeper connection with the full range of glorious humanity. Yeah. Everything is better when everyone is present. Oh my God. That last line, that should go in the Makeda book. Everything is better when everyone is present. One thing I have learned is anxiety spreads like wildfire sometimes. Depending on who's in the room, are you all prone to anxiety and you don't know it about each other? Like, that can really cause some things, I'm telling you. And I just think it'd be so much better if we all just agreed to be present, forget about the past, and, whether the past was 5 minutes ago or a day ago.
Wow.
One more.
Good, yeah, wow.
Okay.
So much to think about.
Jenny says, honoring my true self, knowing I will lose European American friends. And then she says, I've lost some, but it's worth it when it means I'm standing up for people of color. And then she says, I'm not happy with my wording. I'm struggling to articulate in a way that doesn't make it sound like the white savior. Yeah. I get that. I think a lot of people get that as well. What would you recommend for white people to say, I want to be helpful and I want to be an ally, right, without sounding like I want to
be a savior?
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, look up this person, everybody, Anne Braden.
I'll put it in.
She's a white woman, civil rights era woman, white Southern woman.
Oh my God, I remember we talked about her a long time ago.
Yeah, because she basically says that this is not about helping, like, dismantling racism and white supremacy is not about helping people of color. It's about liberating white people, liberating themselves. And I do think that the person who was speaking earlier about she's dying a little bit every day. Yeah, I think there's whiteness is killing people a little every day. And by whiteness is not the same thing to me as like being European American, or being Italian American.
That's
a
good distinction.
Welsh American, or being Ashkenazi Jewish American.
Whiteness is a very specific type of act, almost.
Yes, act, worldview.
I see that.
Construct.
So when you say whiteness, it has the word like centered after it.
Yes, it is. The word, centered, domination.
Yeah.
Because whiteness was only created to dominate, to take away people's land and their bodies. So, whereas being Welsh doesn't necessarily have that, or, So,
oh, is that why you're so committed to calling people European Americans
mm-hmm.
when they're white? That's an interesting. Do you make that clear at the beginning of your seminars and stuff?
Not all the
webinars?
time.
I think sometimes you should. Some people might be like, why?
People are like, why?
That's
and
what I would be like, European American.
What the hell? But I use it interchangeably, and I'm not the first person to do this. You can look at Vanessa July. She's an African American Quaker. She does it. Other people do it, and the reason I'll tell you why I do it is because I want people of European descent to know they have a path forward that's not locked into whiteness.
Yeah.
But if you say I'm white, I am white, but white was only created to oppress people who look like me and you, indigenous people, Hawaiian
immediately
people.
When you say that, like the one drop rule comes into play, I start thinking about how white, when people say that, we assume automatically there's nothing else in there,
Well, that's the other problematic thing. Very good point.
It erases it immediately. And that's why when people do have one drop, sometimes they still acknowledge I'm black. They feel more black than white,
Yeah. I'm sure there's some people in here like one drop rule, Google it. But what I was saying is that a pathway forward, a pathway to love yourself without loving oppression, or having to lie about oppression. Yeah. If you only have white, then you're kind of locked into oppression.
Yeah. And I feel like it's freeing yourself from like these very not evil, but like cruel roots. Yes. It's like cruel roots. That's the way I could put it.
Yeah.
Just trying to not distance yourself, but like block it off.
Maybe there is that thing of blocking off where you stop feeding something.
Oh yeah.
You stop feeding a part of yourself. A part of, right. You can do that.
That's what I've been trying to do. Really? Yeah. With anxiety, it's all I try to do.
Oh, stop feeding it.
Yeah, stop feeding it. Just don't listen. Right. Because even if it's true, it's okay. I mean, nothing's ever gone to show me it's not okay. So do you want another quote? What do you want to do?
I do. You got so much going on, girl. I don't know.
Oh my God. I love talking with you.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I have to admit I do too. But sometimes I'm over here. I'm like, wow, there's so much happening. I don't know what thing to respond to.
You're so understanding, especially compared to people my age. I guess it's hard sometimes.
Understanding?
Yeah.
You mean like what?
You try your best to understand everything I say.
That's true.
Some people don't even try. They're just like, I'm going to let that one slide by.
That's true.
I appreciate the effort. There's something in there.
There really is. There's so much in there. And I think a lot of people my age, in our 50s, we do want to better understand teens. We do, but we do have to shut up and let them talk.
I can totally imagine
and stop pointing, nitpicky little things. Like let them really try to say what they're trying to say to get to the heart of it.
Exactly, because a lot of the times I'm not going to have the correct diction, but eventually it will get there. So we can do another quote. Okay. Well, actually move on.
Is this from MLK?
Yeah, this is also from MLK, by the way. So this is directly, Anyone leading a violent rebellion must be prepared to make an honest assessment regarding the possible casualties to a minority population confronting a well-armed, wealthy majority with a fanatical right wing that would delight in exterminating thousands of Black men, women, and children. MLK, lay it out, bro.
Wow.
Lay it out. Because I think if one thing that the siege on the Capitol made clear, it was that quote. It made it very clear all of a sudden that for us to protest is for us to risk our lives unnecessarily now. Not to protest, but to riot or uprise necessarily. But protest too. We do get hurt for protesting.
Yeah. But I think what he said violent rebellion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he's saying that, think about it. What is it going to get you?
And I love that he's just laying it out like, actually, not everybody is here for your justice.
Well,
the ones in control aren't. That's why.
And then a right-wing armed fanatical. I mean, He's just laying out like, what's the reality?
What's like, let's look at the reality of the situation, and he does that. And I'm shocked that I haven't heard of this book while I was in school, all the way through 12th grade. I had never heard of this book before.
And the name of the book is, so people can know.
Where do we go from here? ... Chaos or community. And it's like, oh my God, he makes so many good points, and the fact that it's so relatable now would make such a good lesson plan to any teacher. I'm like, this is low-hanging fruit, but no, nothing. I also get it, because in a lot of ways it's rebellious. It's a rebellious book in the way that it's simple. There's a simple answer.
True. And it's rebellious.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's all about like, well, where do we go from here? Chaos or community? How do we make change? That book is trying to answer that question. I think it's so amazing, actually, that he's leading a mass movement with all kinds of, daily ups and downs.
Oh my God.
And he's also writing a book.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like, I think that's admirable. I mean, I'm not saying Dr. King is perfect, but honestly, he wrote a lot of books in the midst of.
Anyway, hats off to all of the civil rights era people. I just feel like the danger, the risk that they were in to be in a house with their children, knowing that house could be set on fire, people could break in at any moment. It's like that stress. But I mean, okay, well, actually, this leads greatly into our next woman.
Oh, yes.
Because this woman does not give a hoot what happens to her.
Okay, here's a shout out. Who's shouting out?
Okay. Oh. Yeah, all right, we'll do Fannie Lou Hamer.
Yes, Hamer, I love her.
A lot of people know her.
Can I just say,
unpopular.
Ella Baker was popular, Makeda. It's just that she's not as well known.
No one told me about Ella Baker.
Oh no,
it's okay.
Okay, good.
This.
Before you read her quote,
yeah.
I just want to say, Sweet Honey and The Rock have written songs about both of these women. That is so awesome. Sweet Honey and The Rock. Google it.
Sweet Honey and The Rock. Okay. So
Sharon wants to know if you can post these quotes somewhere. Yeah, we'll post them. And can we post them in Facebook? In the comments?
The event?
On the page where
if you go on Dr. Amanda Kemp's Facebook, and it should be right at the top after we're done with this.
Yeah.
We'll have it posted at the bottom of the comments there.
Okay,
so Fannie Lou, the first quote I had for her is, nobody's fine until everybody's fine.
Nobody saw it till
nobody's fine. Nobody's fine until everybody is fine.
Oh, okay.
She's like, we're not good. You're not good because I'm not good.
Oh, okay.
And this was the one. You can pray until you faint, but unless you get up and do something, God is not going to put it in your lap.
Wow.
And I was like, ooh, because I know spirituality and religion in Black people's lives is very strong. And I know prayer got a lot of Black people through some hard things, but she's just reminding us,
take action.
Yeah, because she's saying all that effort into that when you could really be moving.
Pray. Say it again.
You can pray until you faint, but unless you get up and do something, God is not going to put it in your lap.
Wow.
Yes. And she also had another quote, which I didn't have. I decided to take it out, but it was, anyone who tells the truth gets killed, but I'd rather be 6 feet under and 5 feet closer to freedom. Something like that.
Ooh.
So she was ready to die for freedom.
Well, yeah.
That's what I got for her.
She was beat so many. She was definitely.
I can't even imagine.
She's from Mississippi.
Yeah, well, okay, so some of my facts about her. She's known best for promoting the African American voice in politics and also our votes in politics. She founded the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, which I thought was so cool, so brave, and she was basically a parallel political party to just get more Black people involved in the whole process. And it's like, I can't imagine the backlash she received from a state like Mississippi.
Oh, she did.
Yeah. And she had the name Mississippi in the title, which I'm sure made him a little butthurt too.
Yeah. Yeah. They were trying to get the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party recognized at the Democratic Convention in 1964, rather than the state Democratic Party, which was all white, white dominated, Dixieland, white supremacists, straight up. And so they organized and they created their own, they followed the rules. And then when they got to the convention, they weren't seated.
Of course, guys.
So
many stories like this just hurt my heart.
Yeah, but the thing about her is, she gave a very famous speech called "I Question America," but it was 1964, and she didn't stop. It didn't stop her, and I feel like I agree with the thing about you can pray all you want until you faint, but you got to get up and do something. I think you got to get up and do something, and you got to pray again.
Yeah. It's
a cycle. Keep praying.
You know why? It's like run that battery low, charge up with some faith, and run it low again, because it's a long battle. And I think that is one thing that all of our civil rights activists had a really strong grasp on, that this is not like a 1-year thing and we will be free.
Yeah.
And I think now more so, even maybe because my generation is so impatient, we expect it to be like injustice done with. What's next? And it's like 50 years later, almost 60, probably, I don't know. I'm not good at math.
Depends on where you count it from.
Whatever. It's like we're still deep in it.
We are deep
and we've lost a lot of our warriors.
Yes, we have. Well, when people die, though, this is again why I say keep praying. Because when people die, yeah, their bodies are no longer here. But in my view, you can tap into them.
Mm-hmm.
You can literally call. I call Fannie Lou Hamer. I call Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer. With all due respect, I call Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer. I call on the strength of Fannie Lou Hamer. I mean, you can call on people.
I just picture you like trying not to get into a fight and being like, I call on Martin Luther King.
Exactly. Well, if I don't want to fight, then I don't think I should call on Fannie Lou Hamer.
Yeah.
Because she's going to say, we're going 6 feet under, right?
Be like, Martin, keep me from beating this girl.
Well, that is so, yeah. I know people, Martin, keep me from beating these people up. You could do that. I'm just saying, I don't know. But, my whole approach is not even, God, keep me from beating these people up. I don't know.
Just like, God, show me something new.
Yeah. Or, guide me in this space. Let me know if I need to be here, or do I need to tap out and say, I can't do this?
That's a good one. But you talk about like channeling people or like people's energy, civil rights activist energies. I think about like the movie Selma. I think we might talk about Selma a lot on here. It's either me and you or me and you and the camera. But Selma, oh my gosh. Whew, I felt like that movie put energy like right through my back. And that movie sort of called on all of the people who sacrifice their lives or their physical bodies to get somewhere. And when you watch something like that, you feel it happening and it happened too. So I guess you could say any documentary, you can sort of channel that place's energy or those people's energy and really get a sense, because you're just in it for maybe 2 hours or an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, if you needed like a recharge, a good civil rights movie.
Selma.
Yeah, Selma in particular will really get you charged up.
One of my favorite parts of that movie, 2 things. One is it shows you Dr. King as an activist, struggling, trying to figure out how do we be effective here? Not like what's right or who's wrong, but how do we get somewhere here in Selma? Everybody's divided. Everybody don't agree with me. Whatever. And so I love the fact that it shows that he's not somebody that people are following like Jesus.
Yes.
And the other thing is John Legend's song.
Oh yeah.
To me, that's like one of the highlights of the whole film.
I hope he got good money for that song. It is called Glory. Glory by John Legend and Common, I believe.
Yeah, featuring Common. And I love in the middle of the song, Common says, we put our hands up in Ferguson. Because what were you gonna say about that?
That's it. I was gonna rap it, and then I was like, oh.
No, rap it. Do you know it?
He says, that's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walked through Ferguson with our hands up. And all the Black people are like, yeah.
Yes.
It's just, I mean, and watching the movie, you know how it ends because you're in the ending. That's also the middle, and it's like, ooh, it just means a lot.
Yeah. God so bless. I think that would be a great film if you're looking for something to watch. Do you have, I don't know, I feel like people are talking to us. Should we check on any of these comments?
Oh, yeah.
What's here?
Sarah wants to thank us for sharing our sweetness. Oh, she has to run.
Oh, okay.
Sweet Honey is amazing.
Yes, Sweet Honey the Rock is amazing.
The rest of the quotes, I haven't checked Facebook in a little bit.
Okay.
But I also have a last woman, of course.
Oh, okay. One more woman shout out.
Daisy Bates. Have you ever heard of her?
Yes, the name is familiar, but that one.
Go, girl. Got one. Daisy Bates. So first, Daisy Bates quote: "No man or woman who tries to pursue an ideal in his, her, or her own way is without enemies."
Very
I
true.
like that. As a people pleaser, and I'm sure there's others out there, it's always important to hear that there's inevitable enemies, people that will push back.
Yes.
And you just have to learn how much do you need to push, or what do you have to push forward.
Yes.
Move through it. And I love that because she was a newspaper publisher and she gave the civil rights movement a lot of press. And she was in Arkansas. So that was rough. And eventually, so she became the president of the NAACP Arkansas chapter and was one of the big people pushing for the Little Rock Nine to happen. And that, I feel like I've never heard the Daisy Bates name attached to the Little Rock Nine before. And then that got me thinking, maybe because, so did you think the Little Rock Nine was a good idea?
Oh, for those 9 students to be admitted to the high school in Arkansas? Yes. I mean, obviously, so I'm saying what's obvious to me is, yes, I think that
it was
Black students should have been allowed to enter that school. But the fortitude, the impact of that on those Black students, their mental health, I think you have to really look at your child and say, is this something that my child can do? Does my child want to do this? In my own family, I don't think I ever told you this, but, you know, my grandmother was a leader in the NAACP, and she fought for desegregation of schools, and one generation of her kids went to segregated schools, and then the other generation went to quote integrated schools. And one of my uncles really shared with me how he hated the quote integrated school.
I can imagine. First of all, some kids just dread going to school anyways. Then you add on I would imagine relentless, almost bullying and feeling so out of place.
And like you've got to hold it all in because you represent your race and you're 8 years old.
And you're outnumbered. And being outnumbered can really hurt sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially if they've split them up in different classes.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
It's like, that one hurts a little bit. But it's so funny. You brought that up and I'm like, oh my God. I watched a video on Oprah, on YouTube, of Oprah's show. She has the Little Rock Nine, maybe 4 or 5 of them. And some of the people that bullied them, and they forgive each other on the stage. Wow. And it is really good. I recommend, look up on YouTube, Oprah, Little Rock Nine. Whoo, my God. It is like, it's good for everyone to see if you need a little heart hug today. Because it's particularly this white man who made this Black girl's life very hard. And she's much older. And of course, there's also the side where like, oh, he's looking for a Black woman for redemption and she has to forgive him. She's on Oprah. But it felt very like intimate to me. It felt like more like they were both really choosing to be their best selves.
Wow. Thank you. Thanks for that tip.
I really recommend it.
I think that's part of like what you feed yourself. In the background over there, you see a big chocolate butt. That's a old chocolate dog lab butt. But anyway, I think what you're pointing to, Makeda, is it's important what we feed ourselves. So if we feed ourselves only photos of white supremacists trying to come after us, we're going to have a certain feeling, right? And if we also feed ourselves images of what you just said, it opens up possibility. And I think what Dr. King was profoundly good at was holding on to the space of possibility, no matter what difficulties he was facing. Even within the Black liberation movement, all kinds of criticism, you know, other people were jealous of him. You know, some people were more radical than him, some people were more conservative than him, some people were jealous because he had the limelight. You know, I just, frankly, talk about stressful. I just think that, I mean,
that is worse than being a celebrity. That is so much worse.
It's so much worse. And I feel like, oh, but I heard this thing, and I just want to say this to everybody out here, because I know if you're here, you're probably a change maker. I think it is totally legit. If you are enlivened, turned on, like feel like you're in your purpose and in your stream, when you are out there doing direct confrontation politics, keep going.
Because there's not a lot of people like that.
But if that's not your zone, you know, that takes a lot out of you, please do what you need to pray, or whatever pray may mean for you, to fill yourself so that you can hold the ground, you know, of justice and compassion.
Keep the soil fertile.
Yes. If you're always out there in a lane that is really taxing for you, you are going to get depleted. So make sure as you do your thing, make sure you have the right mix, you know, of feeding, of keeping yourself calm, of keeping yourself in a sense of love.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you could get burnout. I mean,
yes,
you could. I just think of all the things when you're not feeling well, how it can really impact your progress and your effort. You might start feeling like it's not the right thing for you, when really it's just not the correct balance.
Right.
And that could be a big loss for the world.
Right. So good, Makeda. So true.
Thank you.
And I was anyway, we could keep talking, but I know some people are so Sharon is saying we're helping her realize something, and it was private, so I don't want to read it out loud. I don't want to read it. But did you want to share anything on Facebook?
Yeah, that's so funny. Jamie says that's for the book too.
So it's called, what did I call it? Makeda Magic.
Makeda Magic.
Look for it. I'll let you know when it's ready.
My God.
We have to have negotiations about it.
I'm telling you, it's so funny because now my brother has a store called Makeda's Revitalization Station.
Oh my God.
We've got 2 Makeda businesses going on, and I'm not even a businesswoman.
That's true, Makeda. That is funny.
I love it. You know.
But you know what's funny? That tells you that when you're in your lane or in your genius zone or in your mission, you just be being you, and you're inspiring and sourcing other people.
Oh my God. Remember the other day you were talking about, you were thinking about, like, I just don't know where this business is going. Just expressing your
so
little
tired,
bit.
And I was like, maybe I need to just, you know.
She was just, she was
I need to drop out.
Exactly. And so many people reached out and said that you're a source of inspiration for them. They love what you do. Some people said, don't you dare stop. And it's so good to hear it from other people, because I don't think I've ever been that thing for people, but I think maybe you forget what an impact your story not only has on other people, but the fact that you are still going.
Oh yeah,
it's like it's crazy.
Good point.
Yeah, look, Whiteness is obviously a powerful woman.
Yes, and I'm just saying, we were talking the other time about leadership doesn't have to look the same way, like that one quote strong leader limelight. Leadership can also look like, look at you, you're just being yourself. And I'm like, oh, I want to read this book called Makeda Magic. And your brother created this store called Makeda Revitalization Station. You are obviously doing something right if you are, and you're in your lane.
That is such a good way to put it.
It's true. So everybody, you know, don't feel guilty if you're not frontlining, if that's not your lane.
Right.
Now, when you feel like I got to get out there, you listen to that. I got to get, because maybe that is your lane. You just need to get yourself out there. I just want you to, I just don't want me or anybody else here to live in a guilt and a anxiety state, because then you're not really contributing.
Yes, exactly. I remember feeling so guilty I wasn't protesting, but back when it was George Floyd protests in March and April. But I didn't feel comfortable. My stomach dropped when I thought about going out and doing something. And it just felt a little too unpredictable for me. But I also know there's so many other things that I do daily like back then I was working at Wawa trying to finesse racial lines in a sense, trying to make white people at the register feel comfortable. And, you know, it's just a lot of things, many things that I'm doing that I feel like is enough.
And also, when you said make white people feel comfortable, when I think about Makeda Magic, and I'm not just saying this because I want to say nice things to you,
thanks, girl.
but I'm saying them because I want other people to know that you could do some of these things.
Okay.
One of them is you were saying that I don't know, you were like just somehow wanting to bring out the best in people. I'm trying to think about, would you give people like free coffee or pay for their coffee out of your little salary?
No, I wouldn't pay for it out of my salary. I would just give them the coffee.
Oh, but you were like wishing well for people, and then people, you noticed that someone held open the door for one person who held open the door for another person.
Yeah.
You were noticing all these acts of kindness.
Yeah, that all start. And it's just like, because a lot of the times, especially when you stop at a gas station and like you're caught in a cycle, you're on your way to work, you're on your way from work, and it's just like, I don't know, I just try to throw in a little surprise, a little thing, because I know when I'm in the line or like, and someone pays for my drink and you don't even think about it, you're just ready to pay for it, and then someone else gets it and you're like, oh, I wasn't even asking, like, thank you so much. It just makes you feel really blessed.
Yes, yes. So I just want to so you said you weren't, quote, out there protesting, but if you stay in your lane and you give where you can, and you're consciously putting positivity in, maybe that is your lane for that moment.
Yeah.
You know?
And maybe your lane will change over time.
Right.
I'm sure that mine will. But right now, that's exactly what I'm comfortable with.
Right. And just in the future, if you want to go to a protest and you feel your stomach drop, you could always ask me to see if I'll go with you.
Yeah.
To see how your stomach feels then.
Oh my God, no. I would be so worried about you at a protest. I'll be like, protect the president. You don't know this woman. The eagle has landed. Where is her coverage? I'm telling you.
Okay. I want to be a comfort for you, and I see that it would just raise your anxiety.
100%. I don't want to, just in case things go south and you go missing. Oh my God. Anyways.
All right. Do we have anything in the Facebook? Hey, is everybody including and feeling good in this conversation?
Yeah.
Oh, Facebook. Megan is saying she loves us both, and our authenticity is refreshing. Good.
And educational. You missed the most important part.
And Erica says, damn, I hope my children, I have this kind of relationship when they get older, y'all. I hear you, Erica, because
we didn't know.
Well, and also there was a point at which I was like, this is when it happens, when your 14-year-old daughter, who's always loved you, all of a sudden looks at you like,
oh my God. And it did happen. I remember.
You did.
I remember seeing her differently.
I remember you turned to me. I was like, what did I do? You just can't be. You know, kids have to go through what they go through.
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't help it. Obviously, if I could love you in that moment, I would.
Oh, that's a good point, Makeda. That's another good point. You could, if you could have loved me in the moment, you would have, but you couldn't. It wasn't.
No, it was just the hormones.
Yeah, it was what was happening over there.
Yes.
I do talk to other women, and if any of you ever called me or whatever, email me. I feel you, and I do want you to know that hold the center. And I know we all second guess ourselves and we all make mistakes. But if you stay in your lane, if you stay with what you're called to do, and it's gonna unfold. And also your young people are on their own path. I mean, they didn't come in to be you. They're spiritual human beings on their own path, and our job is to keep sending them love, light, wishing them well, but not trying to get in there.
Yeah,
which I did do. I'm just saying.
I mean, the chances are if you let them go, they'll come back licking their wounds and be like, mommy.
Aww. Okay. I feel like we're probably at time. I don't know.
We're at about
4 o'clock?
50 minutes.
Oh wow, we're really overtime today. Okay.
This was so great. I love talking with you.
This was great, but I want to make sure that as many of you as can, please come to our Martin Luther King Jr. Stop Implicit Racial Bias workshop on Monday, the Martin Luther King holiday. We have 2 sessions. We're going to put it in the chat. If you just hit cut and paste, it'll be in the chat here on Zoom, and it'll be in the comments on Facebook. Please, get with us because we wanna see you.
Exactly right. You nailed it.
Wait, did you put it in the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. And do you want to end with anything? Did we, we shout out all the ladies you wanted to shout out?
Yeah, we did. Even Daisy Bates. Okay, wait. Maybe she wasn't a teacher. Maybe I made that up. I was gonna say she was a teacher. No, I think that was a different lady I read about.
Okay. Well, we'll be here next week.
Yeah, we will. I wish I had some great advice to leave you guys with. Oh, I just heard something great. If you're feeling angry at people, feel like you hate everyone, you should eat. If you feel like everyone hates you, you should go to sleep. That's all I got. All right, I'm a quote.
Say it again, Makeda. I'm sorry, it was so fast. Say it one more time. If you
feel like you hate everyone, you should eat. If you feel like everyone hates you, you should go to sleep. Or take a nap, but probably go to sleep.
Okay, y'all. All right, let's try it out. Let's try it out this week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you for being here.